earlier we have learned about how to solve this kind of equation. And we know that we just take square root on both sides. And then I can remove the 3 over. Now this is made possible because we have this kind of form, where on the left hand side of this equation I have got a square term. Okay, this is the square of x minus 3. We call this a completed square, and I will show you how to do that. But this is possible. This solution is possible all because on the left hand side I have the square of a term, and on the right hand side it is a number. Now if we're trying to solve a quadratic equation, in general, the general form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A cannot be 0, by the way. For example, say 3x squared plus 2x minus 7 equals 0. I have a reading where a is a coefficient of x squared, b is a coefficient of x, and c is a coefficient of 1, or you say that's a constant coefficient. Now if you look at this case, you see, okay, in general, if you want to solve a quadratic equation, it's a lot harder. Okay. Now, going back to this method we have learned before, one probably would think that, okay, if only all quadratic equations can look like that. Okay. If only all quadratic equations can look in a way, in this particular form where it is something squared equals a fixed number. Okay. And we're going to show you that this is indeed possible. And the technique that we need to use is called completing the square. Okay, so let's not forget that, okay, we want to make any quadratic equations look like this, where there is a square term and there is a constant term equal to each other. Now, in order to do that, we like to investigate a little bit more about what does a square term look like. Now, let's start with an example. Say, let's calculate x plus 3 squared. Now you know this is x plus 3 multiplied with another x plus 3. Now if you have watched the video we made earlier, you would know that, okay, so this is x squared, alright? And what would be the coefficient of x? And what would be the constant coefficient? Precisely speaking, you know that, okay, so this number, the coefficient of x, is exactly the total of the two constant terms over here. That's 3 plus 3 should go in here. Now in this case, you certainly say this is twice 3, 2 times 3. Okay, so double that and put it in here. Now we also know that this is going to be the product of these two numbers. This is 3 times 3, in a way that this is the square of 3. Okay. So to answer this question quickly, you know, okay, so I'm going to have to put 6 here. The reason is because if I double 3, I get 6. And I'm going to put 9 here. The reason is because if I square 3, I get 9. Now let's look at another example. maybe you can get this quickly. But what would be the square of x minus 5? This is going to be x squared. And how many x? And also how many constant? So to put in here, I would say, okay, here since there's a -5, I will double that, okay, 2 times that, -5. So I'm going to put -10 here. Now for this last place, this is -5 times -5, which is +25. Okay, now let's break out for a little exercise. So, can you fill in the blanks? X minus 7 squared equals x squared, and how many x? And how many constants? Just take 1 minute and fill out these 4 blanks. Okay, now let's see how we solve these problems. Here, the first problem, you got -7 here. So 2 times -7, which is -14. That should go in this blank, -14. And then -7 should be squared, which is +49. Okay, because -7 times -7, since negative number times another negative number is positive, you get 49 here. So I put in 49 here. Now in this one, you have 4 here, so I would double that, which is 8. That goes in here. Now 4 squared equals 16. Should go in this blank. Did you get that?